Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs and welcome to another Rate the Transfer Rumour show. Yes, that's right, this is the show that rates the transfers between 1 and 10. Daz always contributes to this, of course. I'm going to throw a few names at you that once again, we haven't discussed this before we come on. You don't know who I'm going to throw at you, which club they're linked with, etc., etc. If you think it's highly unlikely, you're going to give a 1. If you think it's highly, highly likely, you're going to give a 10. And we've got all the other ratings in between, obviously. So, how are you anyway?
Yeah, all good. Thank God that miserable season for Bows is over, and I'm glad we stayed up.
That's all right. You'll have another miserable season next season. So,
Oh God, yeah, yeah. Enjoy the off season while I can. Silly season.
fun and games. Do you know what? I'm going to start with Bowes. I wasn't going to start with a Bowes link, but now that you mention it, I will. Colin Whelan from Derry City to Bohemians. Of course, Colin Whelan came through the ranks at UCD, scored a lot of goals, had some horrendous injuries in the last couple of years. Has come back into the Derry equation in the last few weeks or so and has actually performed quite well. So, it all augurs well for him in the future, no matter where he ends up. But it's a possibility that he may be moving away from Derry City. Apparently, he's been told by doctors that he needs to get away from the artificial surface. Bows are looking for a striker. They could do a lot worse than Colin Whelan does.
Yeah, that's actually quite an interesting one to start off with. On the subject of Bows, I think it's widely known we need at least two strikers. It's also well known that we've brought in some foreign strikers in the last while that didn't really work out. So I'm hoping that the powers that be will be looking at the English market, the UK market, and our own market here in Ireland. And if Colin Whelan is looking for a new club, I think Bowes would be a good fit for him. If he can stay injury free, he'd be really good. Even an 80% fit Whelan for us would be better than what we've had last year. And we are looking for strikers, and we're going to be fourth in line in Dublin anyway for any striker that comes up. I think, unfortunately, just with competing with salaries, competing with teams that have European football, with Damien Duff over Shells, with Shamrock Rovers close behind, it's going to be hard. And any players that's going to come our way, we really need to examine and look at them. And I actually think Whelan would be a great addition to our team. On his day, he's a really good finisher, one of the best in the league at finishing on his day, I think. And he's had some terrific seasons gone by, but obviously injuries have hampered him. Right? But if he can stay injury free and have a good season at Bowes, it's well welcome.
The only thing I
Uh,
will say about him is it's not that he's injury prone. He's just had two absolutely
Bad,
horrendous
yeah.
injuries. You know, that kind of way. It's not like, oh, he gets
Has.
a muscle injury and his hammy's at him. And he's had two horrific injuries, basically, So,
That's
and
true,
he
but
has looked sharp, to be fair to him, when he's come back, which is a good sign.
yeah, and it's great that he has made a comeback and that he has came on and he has been playing with them. So that's really good to see. And if he is looking for a move, I would absolutely welcome him at Bowes. I think even if he committed one season to Bowes, put himself back in the shop window, gave us a good season, everybody's a winner. So yeah, I'd give that a 7. I'd really like to think that we are looking at him, and I would certainly welcome them today in my park anyway.
You're going for 7 out of 10 for that one. Interesting stuff. Next up is a current Shelbourne League winner, and that's Shane Griffin, the Cork man, potentially on his way back to Cork City. Obviously, Cork have got promotion to the Premier League. No doubt Tim Clancy will be looking at experienced players that he could bring in. And Griffin has won two league titles. He's won one with Cork City before, and obviously this season with Shelbourne. Um, yeah, he may be moving back to Cork City. How do you see that one?
I'm not sure if he's out of contract this season. I think he may be, but and if he is, obviously Shelburne have had a terrific season, and obviously they're going to have a lot more money than they might have anticipated with Champions League football, with league winners, better sponsors, all that kind of stuff. So may well be looking at trying to improve their playing squad, and rightly so. And Griffin could be one that may try and move on. I think he's a handy enough player, though. I think he's experienced enough as well.
Mm.
I think he's certainly someone good, and a league winners team, you want to probably try and keep the core of that team and maybe only get rid of maybe utility players that and you could bring in a few better individuals. In terms of moving to Cork, I think that's actually quite an interesting one, Key. Obviously they've just won their league, they're back in the Premier League. They're going to be looking for players, they're going to be looking for experience, and I think he fits the bill for all that for Cork.
Mm.
And I think he's the type of player that they would be looking for. He ticks all the boxes for them. But then,
Versatile as well, isn't he? He can play as a left back, a centre
left,
back, etc.
yeah, he's good. He's actually someone I'd like at balls, believe it or not. But I'd probably put it at 5. The reason being why I've put it at 5 is if Shelbourne's going to offer him a contract, I think he'd stay. Like, playing for Damien Duff, league winners, Champions League football, it would be a lot to not want to do that next season after having such a good season. So I really don't think any of the players in Shelbourne are going to want to leave unless they're not going to want, they're going to be told you're not playing, or if Shelbourne just renew the contract themselves. But as a whole, I just think he might want to try and stay. So I can see it as a 5. It's definitely possible that could happen. I would certainly say he's going to have a few contracts on his noses in the next few weeks. But I do think he might want to remain at Shelbourne, and Shelbourne might very well keep him.
Interesting. Next up is actually a player that came up before on the show and linked to the same club. I think it was the last window actually, but it's popping up again. Rob Slevin, defender at Galway United to Derry City. Again, Derry City, I know they brought in Wisdom, but they've still been on the lookout for a left-footed centre back, in which Slevin is. Slevin, I'm not sure if he's out of I don't think he is actually out of contract at Galway, so they'd have to pay a fee if that was the case, obviously. But as I said, Derry seem to be in the market for a left-hand side centre back. There's probably something in this. Galway United obviously signed Cathal Hickey and Brendan Clark up to new contracts lately. How are you seeing that one?
Yeah, I suppose firstly, Galway have had a very good season too, with two very experienced number 1 and number 2 gaining control of their club, and well done to Galway and everyone concerned there. Derry are in the market for someone, and in the past they have paid fees for players in the league. Let's not forget that they're one of the very few clubs who has done that. And if they don't win this cup this weekend, I can see them delving right into the market and putting money into it because they have money to spend. Secondly, I think Slevin is a terrific player. I think he's a really solid centre back, and I think he could nearly slot into any team in the league. Really, I highly rate him. I think he's really, really good. I know people could throw out other names, Joe Redmond, Pico Lopez. Yes, they probably all are ahead of him,
But
but I
those
think
players aren't going to be going to Derry City, like,
no, they're not like, and they're not going to be leaving their clubs either. They're like, they're really good players. But in terms maybe of the next best and up and coming, and he's been in and around, and he's played a lot of games. Really, I think Slevin's he's up there, and I think Derry will be looking at him. And obviously, a left-footed, left-sided player is hard to get. Most players are right-footed, so a left-sided player is sought after and is needed. I think I'd put this one key at 6. I certainly think Derry would put an offer in, and if they have European football, they're away. I'm sure he's going to want to go and play it, and he'd be good. He'd be a good addition to Derry, and I think Galway would welcome the income and money they'd get from it as well, and try and further develop their team. So it would benefit all parties. Yeah, I'd put it as a 6. I think there is something in it.
6 out of 10 interest. So for two more now. This one, Ryan Kane from Dundalk, and I'm expecting a lot of players from Dundalk to be linked with clubs in the next few weeks. But Ryan Kane to Shelbourne could be an interesting one. Mainly a left winger, can play in the right as well. A bit inconsistent, but we've seen players move to Shells before that have been a bit inconsistent and excel at Shelbourne. And Ryan Kane definitely has ability, so he does. He's a good turn of pace. Final product obviously could improve, but maybe playing with the likes of Duff and Joey O'Brien, etc. Those things could improve. Still only 21, Ryan, as well, and of course has been part of a squad that's been seriously struggling as well. But interesting to see if Shelbourne actually come in for Ryan O'Kane.
Yeah, no disrespect to Ryan, but I just think Shelbourne are going to be looking for a better caliber of player. I could actually see them putting a bid in to get Will Jarvis back, maybe if anything, over getting Ryan from a relegated Dundalk side that really didn't pull up any trees this season. Obviously geographically, Dundalk's not very far away from Shelbourne, so you would look at it in terms of that. But I think there probably will be a few other clubs he'd be more suited to. I would predict that Shelbourne will be trying to get, so-called better players or more
Could Shells
prestige.
possibly go for him as a squad player though, more so than their leading light in the left wing? Let's say Harry Wood has played there as well and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could. They definitely need wingers, but I just personally think they're going to go for a better, well-known category of player. I don't see anything in this, so I'm going to put it at 2.
Ooh, 2. Definitely happening, isn't it? Finally, Shamrock Rovers fans won't like this one, but Neil Ferrugia, Shamrock Rovers to St. Patrick's Athletic. Neil is out of contract, hasn't signed a contract. Ferrugia's a very good player. He's had his injury problems, mainly played as a wing back for Rovers and done a good job, but realistically, he's a winger, Ferrugia. He's always been a winger, left or right. Now, Pats under Kenny, or any team under Kenny, but particularly, Dundalk and Pats under Kenny, you can see Mulroney and El Bazzetti, on the wing there. So that style of football probably really suits Ferrugia. Now, obviously, you'd have competition from those two players, but you need competition. His competition is Shamrock Rovers anyway. But definitely the type of player I'd see Kenny very interested in. But the question is, would he leave Shamrock Rovers? Bear in mind, he is out of contracts at this as we speak. Would he leave Shamrock Rovers and join possible title rivals in St. Patrick's Athletic next season?
Yeah, that's one now I really wasn't expecting to come up, especially at the Pats. I actually thought you were going to link him with a UK club, which I probably would have, went for. But, Pats is an interesting one. Obviously, we all know Stephen Kenny loves a good winger. That's how he's pretty much played a lot. He's obviously brought in them to mention players for his wings, and it dramatically improved the Pats team. They really, got a style of play, an identified style of play, and El Brizzetti was a really good underage international, and Mulroney was an MLS player at one stage, and two, in my opinion, two of the best wingers in the league. I think they're really, really strong wingers, really good. I actually think Ferrugia would really bring a lot of competition to the team, and he put pressure on the two boys to play well as well, like to continue
Mm.
playing. I really don't think to have too much competition at the minute. They're nearly on the team sheet every week, even if they're not, if you're a 5 out of 10 this week, they're probably still going to play next week and have no one really rivaling in their position.
Mm.
I believe it's always brilliant to have competition every position, even if you have one player pushing the game. It's really important, especially for a team who is probably hoping to push for European football and beyond next season. Then again, is he going to want to leave Rovers? Then very nearly won the league again this year under Bradley, who's probably the best manager in the country at the minute, or one of the best anyway. Obviously, has one of the best squads, a really strong supported background base. There's a lot of elements at play, so it's a very hard one to predict. It's very, very hard. But could he want a new challenge? Kenny's obviously worked with international players, worked with the Ireland team. He could sell a big vision to him and the project of how he's going to do it.
Mm.
At the moment, am I right in saying that Pats won their last 7 or 8 league games in a row?
9.
9, like that's some achievement by Kenny. If he had been in at the start of the season, where could that Pats team have finished? It remains to be seen. So I actually put this one high enough. I'd put it at 7. I think he might move. I think he make the move. Play for under Kenny. I mean, for Pats. Amount of title challenge, something new, and a new project for him. He's been at Rovers for quite a number of years now, and change is good sometimes for players and for teams. I'd put it as a 7. I think it'd be an absolute solid signing for Pats, and I think it'd be a big loss to Rovers. But then again, Rovers have the money to pay him what he wants. If he's saying he's going to leave, Rovers have the money to back him and keep him. So it's a very tough one. Well, I'm going to put it as a 7. I think if Pats are going to go after a winger, he kind of fits the bill as to what kind of a player they want.
Interesting stuff. Brilliant stuff, Daz. That was excellent. 7 out of 10, Neil Ferrugia, the Pats. Guys at home, let us know. Give us a few ratings out of 10 for these players. What do you think? If you're fans of the clubs linked to the players as well, would you like these players at your club, etc.? And for example, a Shamrock Rovers fan, would you be disappointed Ferrugia left, particularly to join a rival? And we leave it there. Subscribe, guys, back home. And thanks for coming on, Daz, as usual. Top man.
Cheers, Keith. Thanks very much.
Thank you.